Finances are not controlled by facts but by divine truth. This is a statement that overturns the beliefs of the majority, for most people live chained to appearances. They see the numbers in their bank account, the bills on their table, the debts pressing against their shoulders, and they believe these facts hold final authority. They believe that the sum of their financial life is nothing more than the arithmetic of income minus expenses, of what comes in versus what goes out. Yet truth is higher than arithmetic, for arithmetic belongs to man, but truth belongs to God. When the eyes of flesh look at lack, they see a closed door. But when the eyes of spirit look at lack, they see the stage set for a miracle. What is called not enough in the language of man is simply the raw material of overflow in the language of heaven. Facts tell you there is a wall, but truth tells you there is a gate you cannot yet see. Facts tell you your resources are finished, but truth declares that resources flow from a fountain that cannot run dry. Consider this deeply: facts are temporary, but truth is eternal. A fact can shift in a single hour. A man without a coin at sunrise may find a treasure by sunset. A woman burdened by debt today may be free tomorrow. Banks collapse, currencies change, salaries rise and fall. Markets swing like a pendulum, but truth remains unmoved. Divine truth says, you are not a beggar but an heir. You are not forgotten but chosen. You are not abandoned to scarcity, but invited to abundance. Those who cling to facts alone will always live in fear, for facts fluctuate, and the world they describe is unstable. But those who anchor in truth walk in peace, for truth does not bend to the weather of circumstance. Truth is the law that supply is infinite, that money is only a symbol of deeper substance, that wealth begins not in the pockets but in the consciousness of the soul. If you believe you are poor, no matter how much you earn, poverty will follow you. If you believe you are rich, even before riches appear, prosperity will find you. The great turning point comes when a person refuses to let facts be the judge of destiny, to look at debt and say, this does not decide my future. To look at an empty wallet and say, this is not the final word. To look at closed opportunities and say, there is a door opening even now. In that moment of faith, when the inner voice is louder than the outer evidence, the spirit begins to move. What seemed impossible begins to rearrange itself. What was closed begins to crack open. What was withheld begins to be released. Understand this: the world of facts is like a stage play. Actors wear costumes of scarcity or abundance, and the scene may appear grim or bright, but the author behind the play is divine truth. When truth enters, the script can change in an instant. The poor man can be lifted to wealth. The struggling worker can be promoted to favor. The one lost in debt can be freed. Not because facts agreed to change, but because truth overruled them. The power of truth is not passive. It demands alignment. You cannot live in fear, speak of lack, and expect truth to manifest abundance. Your words are seeds, and they grow after their kind. Speak of shortage, and shortage will answer. Speak of increase, and increase will come. This is not superstition but spiritual law. The tongue writes the future in invisible ink that becomes visible with time. That is why you must choose carefully the story you tell about your finances. Do not say, I never have enough. Do not say, money is hard to come by. Do not say, I am drowning in bills. For every time you say it, you reinforce the facts and bury yourself deeper in them. Instead, align your words with truth. Say, money serves me. Say, supply is flowing. Say, every need is met in perfect time and order. Speak it even when the facts mock you, for the facts are paper walls, and truth is the hammer that will shatter them. Those who have walked this path know the mystery. Money does not come only through wages or human channels. Money comes through ideas, through favor, through opportunities no man could have arranged. A sudden promotion, a forgotten debt repaid, a chance meeting that becomes a partnership, an idea that blooms into a business. These are the ways truth reveals itself. It is not about logic, it is about alignment. When you stop bowing to facts and stand firm in truth, unseen forces go to work on your behalf. Do not misunderstand, this is not an excuse for laziness. Divine truth does not reward idleness, for idleness is distrust in disguise. To trust truth is to walk boldly, to act in faith, to move forward even when the path is foggy. Work, yes, but work with expectancy, not with fear. Sow, yes, but sow knowing harvest is guaranteed. Take action, but let your action be infused with trust, not panic. The one who knows truth can look at their circumstances and smile, because they know what is seen is only a fraction of what exists. The visible bank balance is only one line in the story. The invisible storehouse of heaven holds far more. When you rely on facts, you are like a person staring at the surface of the ocean, seeing only the waves. But truth dives deep, revealing the vast wealth beneath. Remember this always: facts are the shadow, truth is the light. The shadow changes with every angle, but the light never shifts. When your financial life seems surrounded by shadows of lack, turn toward the light of truth. Declare boldly, I live in a universe of supply. I am not forgotten, I am not forsaken, I am provided for. My prosperity is certain, my abundance is assured. As you repeat such declarations, not with doubt but with conviction, you will feel a shift within. The fear that once gripped your chest will loosen. The anxiety that kept you awake will ease. That inner peace is the first sign that the facts are already bending. For inner peace always precedes outer change. When the soul is calm, the outer world aligns. When the heart believes, the facts bow. And when the shift comes, when unexpected provision arrives, when opportunities unfold that you never imagined, remember this. It was not the facts that ruled you, it was the truth that carried you. Give thanks not only for the money but for the deeper lesson, that you are never hostage to appearances, but always free in truth. Every story of lack is temporary, every report of shortage is passing, every season of financial difficulty is but a shadow. Truth is greater. Truth says, I will never leave you without supply. I will always make a way. I will open streams in the desert and pour rivers into dry ground. And this truth is not reserved for some, it is for all who dare to believe it. So lift your head, refuse to measure your life by the numbers on paper. Refuse to let fear script your story. Refuse to bow to the tyranny of appearances. Anchor in truth, speak truth, believe truth, and you will see how quickly facts rearrange themselves to obey. For finances are not controlled by facts, but by divine truth, and that truth is working for you even now. The Holy Spirit rewrites every story of lack into a testimony of abundance. There is no condition, no appearance, no circumstance so fixed that it cannot be turned around by divine power. What men call hopeless, the Spirit calls already redeemed. What looks final to the world is only the beginning of a greater chapter in God's design. Lack may shout loudly, but truth whispers with eternal authority, and the whisper of truth is stronger than the roar of fear. So many people live imprisoned in stories of scarcity. They rehearse them day after day, telling anyone who will listen about their bills, their debts, their struggles, their disappointments. Each word becomes another line in a script of lack. But the Spirit does not read that script, nor is he bound by it. He carries a new manuscript, one written in heaven before time began. In that manuscript you are not broke, not struggling, not trapped, you are free, you are provided for, you are overflowing with more than enough. When you align with his vision, he flips the page and reveals the true story written about you. There is a great law of life: whatever you magnify grows. If you magnify debt, it multiplies. If you magnify insufficiency, it repeats. But when you magnify divine supply, when you magnify the Spirit's abundance, it manifests. The mind is a garden and words are seeds. If you plant worry, you harvest more reasons to worry. If you plant faith, you harvest miracles. The Holy Spirit takes even the smallest seed of trust and multiplies it until it fills your whole life with provision. People often say, I need to see it first, then I will believe. But the Spirit says, believe first, and then you will see. Lack is nothing but a shadow cast by unbelief. Abundance is the light that appears when you choose to trust. The Spirit cannot fail because he does not depend on human economy. Banks may close, currencies may fall, jobs may shift, but the river of divine supply never runs dry. You are not sustained by numbers on a paycheck, you are sustained by the eternal source of all wealth. There is a sacred exchange that happens when you hand over your story of lack. You may feel as though you are surrendering something precious. Your worry, your reasoning, your calculations, but what you truly release is a burden that never belonged to you. And when you release it, the Spirit gives you something better. He gives you a story of increase, a testimony of overflowing provision. Your role is not to figure out how, but to remain steady in faith and speak life over your affairs. The tongue is a creative instrument. What you declare with conviction becomes substance in the unseen realm, and the Spirit breathes upon it until it manifests in form. If you say, I am always broke, nothing works out for me, the Spirit cannot affirm those words, for they are falsehoods. But if you say, every need is met in perfect time and order, money flows to me easily and abundantly, I live in divine supply, then the Spirit rushes to confirm those declarations with power. It is not arrogance to speak this way, it is alignment with truth. The Holy Spirit delights in surprising his children. Just when you think there is no way, he reveals a way no human mind could have planned. A bill is paid from an unexpected source. A job offer arrives from someone you did not even know was watching you. A debt is erased without explanation. A door opens that had been shut for years. These are not coincidences, they are testimonies, written by the Spirit himself to prove that your story is no longer lack but abundance. Consider how nature operates. A tree never worries about whether fruit will come. The tree simply obeys, rooted in the soil, reaching for the light, and in due season the fruit appears. So it is with your finances. Your task is not to strain and struggle, but to root yourself in faith and reach for divine truth. As you do, abundance ripens naturally. The Spirit ensures the harvest. Sometimes the rewriting of your financial story begins with the smallest of shifts. It may be the decision to speak words of gratitude instead of complaint. It may be the boldness to give when fear says, hold back. It may be the willingness to see opportunity in what looked like loss. Each shift is a line edited by the Spirit, transforming your script from one of defeat into one of triumph. Do not underestimate the power of release. When you release fear, more is added to you. When you release grudges, channels open for new provision. When you release the belief that wealth is hard to come by, you suddenly find it flowing with ease. The Spirit's abundance is not earned, it is received. It is not withheld by difficulty, it is revealed through surrender. Your life may have been marked by patterns of struggle handed down from family, culture, or environment. Perhaps you were told from childhood that money is scarce, that prosperity belongs only to others, that you must work endlessly just to survive. But those are man-made scripts, and the Spirit is not bound by them. He takes the pen of eternity and writes a new inheritance. You are not chained to generational lack, you are chosen for generational blessing. What stopped with your ancestors will flow freely through you. Remember, abundance is not only measured in numbers but in freedom. To wake each morning without fear of bills, to give generously without hesitation, to live with peace in your soul. That is true wealth. Money is only one expression of the Spirit's provision. Ideas, opportunities, health, relationships, all are currencies in the kingdom of abundance. When the Spirit rewrites your story, He does not only erase debt, He enriches your entire being. Every testimony of abundance begins with a moment of choice. You can choose to believe that the old story is final, or you can choose to trust that the Spirit has a better script. Choose today. Refuse to rehearse lack for one more moment. Speak only words of life. Expect miracles, for miracles are the natural outcome of faith. Do not say, one day things will improve. Say, today my story is rewritten. Today I walk in divine supply. Today abundance is revealed. As you live in this faith, notice how your outer world rearranges itself. The same people who ignored you before may now call with offers. The same efforts that once failed now succeed with ease. The same doors that were shut suddenly swing open. Why? Because the Spirit has edited the script. You are no longer playing the role of the struggler, the victim of circumstances. You are now cast as the heir, the receiver, the one through whom divine provision flows. And this new story is not temporary. It is not a blessing that comes today and disappears tomorrow. The Spirit does not give and then take away. He establishes abundance as a permanent state, a testimony of His goodness. Even in seasons where appearances seem uncertain, the truth remains unshaken. You are supported, you are provided for, and you will never be forsaken. So hold your head high, even in the presence of bills. Smile even in the face of delay. Praise even when the evidence seems small. For praise is the language of faith, and faith is the pen by which the Spirit writes abundance into your life. Every hallelujah is a line of wealth. Every thank you is a paragraph of provision. Every declaration of trust is a page turned from lack into overflow. One day, you will look back and laugh at the stories you once told of struggle. You will say, I thought it was the end, but it was the beginning. I thought I had nothing, but I had everything. I thought lack defined me, but the Spirit defined me as blessed. Your testimony will not only bless you, but it will bless others. They will hear how the Spirit rewrote your script, and their faith will rise to believe for their own. Therefore, never fear lack again. It has no authority over you. You are not trapped by numbers, not bound by debt, not limited by man's system. You are governed by divine abundance. The Spirit is rewriting your story even now. Trust Him, declare His promises, release fear, and step boldly into the new chapter. For the Holy Spirit rewrites every story of lack into a testimony of abundance, and your testimony has already begun. Beloved soul, hear this truth today: supply is spiritual. It is not bound to your employer, it is not chained to a bank, and it is not limited by the fluctuations of a market. These things may look like the source of your money, but they are only the channels. They are instruments, not the composer. They are the branches, not the root. And when you mistake the branch for the tree, you will live in fear that the branch might break. But when you understand that the tree of divine supply has infinite branches, you will never fear when one falls away, because another will appear in its place, fresh, green, and strong. The world trains people to worship channels. It says, if you do not have this job, you are finished. If the bank closes its doors, you are ruined. If the market crashes, your wealth disappears. And so people tremble, chase after security, and sell their peace in exchange for worry. Yet in truth, no bank is your security, no employer is your savior, no market is your source. The invisible hand of Spirit is your everlasting supply, and no man, no policy, no economic storm can sever that stream. Think for a moment of air. Do you worry where your next breath will come from? Do you beg the trees to release enough oxygen for you to survive the day? No, you simply breathe and the atmosphere gives without measure. That is how divine supply operates. It is around you always infinite, waiting for you to inhale it through faith, gratitude, and bold declaration. Lack begins only when you block the flow with fear, anxiety, and doubt. But once you align your mind to truth, you inhale abundance as naturally as you breathe. When you tie your sense of security to a job alone, you enslave yourself. If your employer is your master, you will always live in the prison of fear, fear of losing your position, fear of being replaced, fear of not being paid enough. But if you recognize that your employer is only one channel among countless possible channels through which spirit can flow, then you walk free. You can bless your job, honor it, and perform it with joy, but you never bow to it as if it were your God. For you know that if one door closes, spirit can swing open 10 more. The same truth applies to banks. People look at their bank accounts and allow numbers on a screen to dictate their mood, their faith, even their sense of worth. If the number is high, they feel confident. If the number is low, they feel terrified. But the spirit does not calculate your worth by digits. Spirit's supply is infinite, and infinite cannot be measured by numbers. Banks are record keepers, not sources. They hold evidence of money that has already passed through a channel, but they cannot create wealth. Your consciousness, aligned with spirit, creates the magnet that draws the flow. Consider the markets, those unpredictable tides that rise and fall with news, politics, fear, and greed. Many have been deceived into believing that their destiny rests upon the market's mood. But is spirit unstable? Does divine order collapse when stocks collapse? Never. The market may shake, but the foundation of spirit never moves. Prosperity built on divine law does not tremble with every headline. When your consciousness rests on spirit as supply, you can prosper in famine, flourish in recession, and rise in the midst of turmoil. For while the world cries downturn, spirit whispers opportunity. Supply is spiritual because everything visible begins in the invisible. A house is first an idea in the mind of the builder. A book is first a thought in the heart of the writer. Money itself is first an energy, a vibration of value, before it takes the form of paper or digital record. When you align with this vibration, when you open yourself to spirit as source, channels of supply must open. This is law. Spirit is the well, channels are the pipes. Break a pipe, and the water finds another road, for the well does not dry up. If you would live in abundance, you must train yourself to see beyond appearances. Appearances scream limitation, but truth whispers expansion. Appearances say, you cannot afford this, but truth says, all that is mine by divine right now comes to me. Appearances may show an empty wallet, but truth reveals an infinite stream waiting to pour. The spiritual eye sees provision where the natural eye sees only desert. And once you believe, once you stand firm in the conviction that spirit is your true source, the desert blooms, the wallet fills, and the opportunities multiply. There is a reason why fear is so tied to money, because fear thrives when people place faith in unstable channels. Fear is the child of misplaced faith. If your security rests on markets, bored jobs, you will fear constantly. But if your security rests on spirit, fear dissolves. You know that even if one avenue closes, spirit has already prepared another. You know that you cannot outgive the infinite, you cannot exhaust the well of supply, you cannot limit the limitless. And so you walk with peace, even when the world shakes. Let your words align with this truth. Stop speaking as if your life depends on man-made systems. Stop saying, if I lose this job I am finished, or if the market falls I will be ruined. Instead, declare, spirit is my source. My supply flows freely, easily, and abundantly through many channels. No person, bank, or market controls my destiny. Speak these words with conviction, and you will see channels open in ways that astonish you. You will receive unexpected opportunities, sudden provisions, gifts, ideas, and solutions that no financial advisor could predict. Remember, this spirit is not bound to human logic. Supply can come in ways that defy reason. A closed door can lead to a greater one. A lost investment can be the seed of a new venture that multiplies. An unexpected meeting can open opportunities greater than years of striving. What the world calls chance is simply spirit weaving unseen patterns into visible blessings. The channel may surprise you, but the source is always the same. Even now, spirit is arranging circumstances for your good. Even now, the script of your finances is being rewritten. You need not chase money like a desperate beggar. You need only align yourself with truth and allow money to be drawn to you. For money is a servant, not a master. When you see supply as spiritual, money comes to serve its rightful place in your life. To fund your vision, to bless others, to expand goodness. But if you worship money as your source, you invert the order, and the servant becomes a tyrant. Release fear today. Release the illusion that your destiny hangs on numbers, bosses, or institutions. They are but temporary actors in a far greater play. The true author of your supply is eternal, and he never runs out of ink. Trust that your story is being written with lines of abundance, not poverty. Expect good, and it will appear. Declare plenty, and it will manifest. Leave with open hands, and spirit will fill them again and again. Supply is spiritual. It is the air you breathe, the flow that never ceases, the well that never dries. Place your faith there, and you will live in peace. For while the world may panic over employers, banks, and markets, you will smile, knowing that your true supply is infinite, unshakable, and forever yours. Debt and limitation are temporary scripts, truth tears them up. Life often presents us with a page that looks covered in numbers written in red ink, obligations pressing down, deadlines threatening, and demands stacking like mountains. To the eye, it appears permanent. To the natural mind, it seems fixed. But what is written in the world is never the final draft. The spirit always has the last word, and the last word is freedom. Your current circumstances may whisper, stuck, but truth shouts louder. You are destined for release. You are destined for increase. You are destined for more than enough. Debt is nothing more than a shadow. Limitation is nothing but a passing cloud. They are scripts, yes, but only drafts, never the eternal record. Too many souls treat debt as identity. They repeat it in their conversations, they replay it in their minds, they speak of lack as if it is their name. But your name is not debt, your name is not poverty, your name is abundance, chosen before the foundations of the earth. The Spirit who authored your life did not write your story in scarcity. He wrote it in overflowing provision. And when you awaken to this truth, the temporary scripts lose their power. You must understand that debt and limitation live only on the stage of appearances. They act as if they are permanent characters, yet they are not. They are guests without permission, squatters who have stayed too long in the house of your life. The moment you call upon the higher law, the moment you speak truth with authority, they must leave. Truth tears up their contracts. Truth cancels their hold. Truth says, this script is void, for a new chapter is already written. Do not fear the number on the page, whether it is the balance of a bill, the figure of a loan, or the emptiness of a bank account. These are but symbols, shifting with the wind. What is unseen is greater. There is a treasury of infinite supply, and it is never empty. Heaven's account does not fluctuate with markets or economies. The divine order has already assigned to you more than enough, and when you align your words and faith with it, that invisible wealth translates into visible form. There is a reason you feel a restlessness when bound by debt. Your spirit knows that chains are unnatural to you. You were not created for bondage. You were not created to live beneath the weight of financial burden. You were designed to flow, to expand, to circulate abundance like breath itself. And so every time you declare freedom, every time you affirm that lack is not your story, you are aligning with your true nature. You are tearing up the script that fear wrote and replacing it with the script that truth has preserved for you since the beginning. Think of limitation as a rehearsal of a play that was never meant to be performed. It is a draft, not the final performance. Yet many live as though this rehearsal is their destiny, repeating lines of lack. I cannot afford this. I will never be debt-free. Money is always tight. Each phrase is a rehearsal of poverty. But the Spirit waits for you to change the script. He waits for you to stand on the stage of life and declare, I am rich in every way. I live in overflow. Debt is erased. Limitation is dissolved. The moment you change your words, you change your role, and the entire play must shift. You may ask, how does truth tear up these scripts? Truth is not passive, it is active living, sharper than any lie. Truth enters into your affairs the moment you believe, and it does not negotiate with fear. It does not ask limitation to shrink, it commands it to vanish. Truth shines where debt tries to hide. Truth declares that every obligation is already paid in full through divine supply. Truth says that wealth belongs to you by right of consciousness, not by struggle. When you grasp this, you no longer serve debt as a master, for you know you serve a higher master who provides without limit. Fear loves to dramatize. It says this bill will never be paid. This burden will crush you. You will be in lack forever. But fear is a poor author. Its words have no true power unless you sign your agreement. The moment you withdraw your agreement and choose truth instead, the false script collapses. A mind that holds fear writes more lack. A mind that holds truth writes miracles. You are the pen in the hand of spirit. Your words, your beliefs, your inner images, they all write your financial story. What story are you writing today? Is it one of bondage or is it one of freedom? You must train your tongue to become the ally of truth. Every careless word about lack strengthens the old script. Every bold declaration of abundance strengthens the new one. Speak with certainty. I am free from debt. I live in abundance. Money flows to me easily, constantly, and in perfect order. Even if appearances mock you, hold to the truth. The Spirit flips the script not when you beg, but when you stand in faith. Remember this, no script of debt or limitation is eternal. The Spirit is eternal and the Spirit is freedom. Freedom is your inheritance. Debt cannot outlast truth, for truth is infinite and debt is temporary. Think of the many who once were crushed by financial chains, who once thought their situation permanent, but who dared to speak life, dared to declare freedom, and watched doors open, watched debts cancel, watched supply appear in ways they could not imagine. What happened? The old script was torn, and the new one took its place. Your task is not to figure out how the provision comes. That is not your role. Your role is to believe, to declare, to expect. The Spirit arranges the how. He is the great director of the play, orchestrating opportunities, aligning resources, inspiring minds, and moving hearts. He may use a person, an idea, an open door, or a sudden gift. The channel is not your concern. Your concern is to hold to truth and reject fear's draft. Let this be clear when you look at debt, do not tremble. Look at it as a script already fading. It has no power over you unless you treat it as permanent. See it as paper, not stone. See it as words that can be rewritten, not destiny that must be endured. Say to it with boldness, you are temporary, you are dissolved. You are erased by divine truth. And stand still long enough for the Spirit to confirm your words with action. Do not measure your future by your present. Do not define yourself by the ledger of today. For what you see is passing, but what is unseen is eternal. Your unseen wealth is greater than any visible debt. Your unseen freedom is more real than any visible chain. And as you cling to that unseen truth, you will watch as the visible world rearranges itself to match it. Yes, debt and limitation are temporary scripts. Truth tears them up. Hold to this as a law. Let no circumstance persuade you otherwise. The more you meditate on this truth, the more power it gains in your life. Let your thoughts repeat it, let your tongue declare it, let your heart believe it. And soon the play will shift, the chapter will change, the new story will unfold, and you will stand free, prosperous, overflowing with supply, testifying that the Spirit always has the last word. You are not bound, you are not stuck, you are free, and you are rich in divine supply. The old script is gone, and the new one has already been written. Leaven it, speak it, believe it, and it shall be so. Faith invites the Spirit to straighten crooked financial lines. What do I mean by that? Every life has a story, and every story has lines, lines of action, lines of cause and effect, lines that trace the journey from one season to the next. But many of those lines do not run straight. They are bent by fear, twisted by worry, and tangled by doubt. In finances especially, people find their lines turning in strange directions, debts mounting, opportunities delayed, payments missed, incomes cut, doors closed. It looks like a scribble on paper, messy and unclear. Yet the Spirit is not intimidated by crooked lines. Faith is the invitation, the open door, the call that says, "Come, Holy Spirit, and draw them straight." When you look at your bank account and the numbers seem too small, when the bills sit on the table and whisper, "You cannot handle me." When creditors call and your heart sinks, know this, those are not final lines, they are drafts, they are temporary sketches. The truth is higher. And when faith rises in you, when you decide to trust more than you fear, you are, in essence, handing the pen over to the Holy Spirit. You are saying, "I do not know how to write my way out of this," but you do. Straighten what I cannot straighten. Clear what I cannot clear. Make smooth the path that looks rough to my eyes. Faith is not a vague hope. It is not wishful thinking. Faith is substance. It is the knowing before seeing. It is the inner wealth that calls outer wealth into order. It is the spiritual magnet that attracts the right people, the right opportunities, and the right supply at the right time. The Spirit does not respond to fear, but to faith. Fear is static. It clouds the line. Faith is clarity. It invites the line to straighten. And the moment faith speaks, the Spirit begins to rearrange. Think of crooked lines as debts, delays, confusions, unexpected losses, or cycles that keep repeating. Some people live their whole lives thinking, "I'll always struggle. I'll always be behind. My family never had enough, so I'll never have enough." Those thoughts are crooked lines. They bend your view of what's possible. They make you walk in circles instead of forward motion. But the moment you say, "No, I believe that divine supply is unlimited. I believe I am not excluded. I believe provision is my right by divine law," you untwist those lines. The Spirit takes hold and says, "At last, you've given me permission to work." And then watch as debts that seemed impossible to pay begin to dissolve, as unexpected money comes in, as opportunities show up where you thought there were none. It may not come in the way you expect. That is why faith is vital. Faith trusts even in mystery. Faith does not dictate the form. Faith simply declares, "I know it is done." The Spirit knows how to orchestrate supply in ways the human mind could never plan. You may think the only way is through your job, your business, or alone. But the Spirit is infinite in creativity. He can open streams you never knew existed. He can align someone's heart to bless you. He can position you in a place where opportunity meets preparation. He can multiply small seeds into great harvests. Faith allows Him to do it. Fear blocks it. The crooked lines of financial worry often come from rehearsing lack. Every time you say, "I can't afford this," you are bending the line. Every time you declare, "It's hard to make money," you twist it further. Words are lines. They sketch the future. But faith words straighten them. When you declare, "I live in a universe of abundance. I am guided to supply. Money comes to me in perfect order," you lay down a straight path for provision to follow. Some may say, "But I tried faith before and nothing happened." That is because they were testing, not trusting. Testing waits with doubt. Trusting rests with certainty. A farmer who plants seeds does not dig them up tomorrow to see if they are working. He knows they will sprout in due time. Faith works the same way. Once you speak it, once you release it, stand firm. Do not rehearse the crooked lines of fear. Stay on the straight path of belief. In due season, the Spirit brings the harvest. Look back at your life for a moment. How many times did you face something that seemed impossible, and yet somehow you made it through? Somehow what looked crooked found its way to resolution. That was not chance. That was the Spirit straightening lines you didn't even see. If He did it before, He will do it again. Only this time, do not stumble into it blindly. Partner with Him consciously. Invite Him with faith. Speak boldly that your finances are aligning, your debts are clearing, your wealth is flowing. Imagine your finances like a map. Fear draws detours, blockages, dead ends. Faith draws highways, bridges, clear roads. Which map will you choose to carry? The Spirit is ready to redraw yours today. He is ready to move you from confusion into clarity, from not enough into more than enough. But He responds to your invitation. And your invitation is faith. Do not say, I will believe when I see. Say instead, I believe, and therefore I will see. This is the law of Spirit. Believe first. Align your thoughts, your words, and your feelings with abundance. Live as if the crooked line is already straight. Give thanks in advance. Gratitude is proof of faith. When you thank before you see, you declare trust in the unseen order, and that gratitude pulls the future into the present. Crooked lines may look like a financial crisis today, but crises are often the very turning points where faith is born. When all else fails, faith becomes the only choice, and when you choose it, the Spirit moves faster than you can imagine. Suddenly, what was blocked is released. What was denied is approved. What was empty is filled. Not by chance, but by divine order. There is a reason Scripture says, make straight the way. Straightness is clarity, order, alignment. Crookedness is confusion, fear, resistance. In your finances, you have the power to make straight the way, not by force, not by frantic labor, but by faith. Trust that you are guided. Trust that you are supplied. Trust that no matter what the numbers say, there is a higher law that governs provision. The world may talk of recession, inflation, shortages. Those are crooked reports. They may be facts, but they are not final truth. You live by higher law, and when you anchor yourself in that law through faith, you rise above appearances. You walk in supply even when the world cries shortage. You prosper even when others panic. Your lines remain straight because the Spirit holds the pen. Think of a child learning to write. Their lines wobble, their letters tilt. Then the teacher comes and places a guiding hand over theirs, helping them steady, making the letters smooth. So it is with you. Your financial handwriting may have been shaky, uneven, marked by mistakes. But when you yield to the Spirit, He places His hand over yours. Suddenly, the crook becomes straight, the page becomes clean, the story reads differently. Faith invites that guiding hand. So if your finances feel tangled today, if your story looks messy, pause, breathe, speak with authority. Holy Spirit, I invite you now to straighten every crooked line in my financial affairs. Where there is debt, draw the line of clearance. Where there is lack, draw the line of abundance. Where there is delay, draw the line of divine timing. Where there is confusion, draw the line of clarity. I believe it is done. And then walk forward with calm assurance. Do not look back at the scribbles. Look ahead at the straight path unfolding. Your life is not doomed to scarcity. Your lines are not fixed in error. They are living, shifting, bendable. Faith is the power that shifts them. The Spirit is the artist who completes them. Together, your belief and His action create the masterpiece of abundance. So today, stop worrying about how crooked the lines look. Stop rehearsing the mess. Instead, lift your eyes, speak faith, invite the Spirit, and watch as He redraws your story into something beautiful, prosperous, and whole. For faith invites the Spirit to straighten crooked financial lines, and once He does, they will never bend back again. Beloved, hear this truth with your whole heart. Your finances do not respond to timidity, hesitation, or fear. The world has taught many to plead, to beg, to hope quietly that perhaps something will change if they just wait long enough. But divine law does not move by weak requests. It answers bold declarations. Money opportunities and supply respond to the authority of your spoken word. The Spirit within you is not timid. The Spirit is bold, commanding, and full of life. And when you align your voice with that Spirit, you unlock a stream of abundance that has been waiting to flow. Think about the way kings, rulers, and leaders in history moved nations. Did they whisper? Did they beg for things to happen? No, they gave commands. They understood that authority rests in the tongue. You, too, are heir to divine authority. You are not a beggar scraping at the gates of wealth. You are a rightful heir to spiritual riches. And when you speak to your finances with the confidence of one who knows their inheritance, your words begin to shape reality. Many live bound because they keep asking for money as if it were hiding somewhere far away. They pray timidly, please, if only I could have enough to pay this bill, if only I could survive this week. But such words do not open heaven's storehouse. Heaven has already declared, all that is mine is thine. When you know this truth, you no longer ask for crumbs, you command your portion, you stand and say, money, come to me in divine order. opportunities appear, debts dissolve, supply flow without obstruction. These are not the words of arrogance, but of alignment with spiritual law. Understand this: lack is not your master. Money is not your master. You are the master of money when you speak in union with spirit. The difference between asking and commanding is the difference between fear and faith. Asking timidly implies doubt. It suggests maybe it will happen, maybe it won't. But commanding declares, it is already mine. I take possession now. That shift in energy rearranges everything in your financial world. Consider a magnet. It does not plead with iron to come closer. It simply carries its natural charge, and iron cannot resist. So it is with the bold declarations of your word. When you speak with authority, opportunities, ideas, and resources cannot resist. They are pulled into your orbit. They must answer to your vibration. But when you speak weakly, when you half believe, when you scatter your energy with complaints, you weaken your magnet. This is why it matters deeply how you talk about money. If you constantly say, I'm broke, I never have enough, life is so expensive, money is so hard to find, you are commanding lack without realizing it. The universe hears your words as law. You think you are complaining, but you are creating. You are writing checks of shortage that life will cash. Stop rehearsing poverty with your tongue. Every time you declare lack, you authorize it to linger. Instead, retrain your lips to speak abundance, even before it manifests. Declare, I always have more than enough. Money flows to me easily. I am divinely provided for. At first, it may feel like pretending, but as you repeat it boldly, it imprints your spirit and rewrites your reality. Do not confuse commanding with arrogance. True command is rooted in humility because it acknowledges that the power does not come from your little self. It flows from spirit within you. The command is effective because it is backed by divine law. Just as light always dispels darkness, your word always brings supply when spoken with conviction. You are not making money obey you. You are aligning with the truth that supply has already been created for you. Your bold declaration simply unlocks what was waiting all along. Now hear this: the Holy Spirit cannot work through fear-soaked words. He works through faith-filled declarations. If you whisper weakness, you tie his hands. But when you command boldly, you give him the pen to rewrite your financial script. What once said lack, suddenly says overflow. What once said debt, now says freedom. Your tongue hands him the ink. That is why your words are not small, they are the levers of transformation. Imagine your finances as a mountain. If you stand before it and say timidly, please move, maybe just a little, the mountain laughs. But if you declare with faith, mountain, move, the spirit within echoes your word with power. That is why scripture declares that faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. It is not the size of the seed. It is the authority of the declaration. Let me ask you, how often do you speak as if you are rich already? How often do you command blessings as if they are certain? Most people wait until they see the money before they declare abundance. But the secret is this: you must declare it before it arrives, because your word summons it. Your bold speech is the signal, the beacon, the magnet. Without it, supply waits dormant. With it, supply rushes forward. Think of a captain steering a ship. He does not beg the wheel to turn, he commands it. He does not plead with the sails to catch the wind, he positions them. You are the captain of your financial destiny. Stop letting the winds of fear, economy, and circumstance toss you around. Grip the wheel with your words. Command the sails of your finances to shift into the current of abundance. And know this: you do not have to know how it will happen. The command is your part, the unfolding is spirit's part. Too many paralyze themselves trying to figure out the details. They think, how will the money come? What door will open? Who will help me? But that is not your concern. Your concern is to speak boldly and trust fully. The supply may come through a new opportunity, a gift, an idea, or a release from debt. It may come in ways you cannot predict. But it will come. Bold declarations release the how into divine hands. There will be moments when doubt creeps in. Bills will glare at you, numbers in the bank may look small. In those moments, the timid spirit wants to rise and say, maybe it won't work. Maybe I should just ask quietly, just in case. Do not surrender to that weakness. Stand taller in those moments. Look at the bills and declare, you are already paid, you are dissolved in divine order. My supply is greater than these numbers. This is not denial. It is spiritual defiance. It is refusing to let temporary appearances dictate eternal truth. Remember this always: every fortune ever built began with words spoken in faith. Every business, every creation, every act of prosperity was commanded into form. The pioneers of abundance were not the timid, they were the bold. They dared to declare what others laughed at. They dared to command prosperity before it appeared, and so it came. You too are called to such boldness. You are not here to scrape by, to live small, to shrink in fear. You are here to radiate the wealth of spirit in visible form. Money is not evil. It is energy, a servant, a tool, and it waits for your command. Call it forth with love, with purpose, with certainty. Declare that it flows not just to you but through you, blessing many. So today, make a new covenant with your tongue. Refuse to beg, refuse to whine, refuse to rehearse lack. Instead command. Declare boldly, I am wealthy, I am supplied, I am debt-free, I am prosperous in every way. Repeat it until the vibration fills your bones. Speak it in the morning, speak it at night, speak it when doubt appears. Let no timid request pass your lips, only bold commands of faith. For when you command your finances with bold declarations, the universe listens, heaven responds, and the Holy Spirit moves swiftly. What seemed locked will open. What seemed lost will be restored. What seemed impossible will manifest. Your script will flip, your story will change, and your life will overflow with supply. Command, beloved, do not ask, declare, do not beg, for your word carries divine authority and your finances are waiting to obey. Your words write the future, speak wealth, not want. The truth is simple, yet it carries the greatest key to unlock financial freedom and spiritual abundance. Life is not created by chance, nor by the outer appearances of bills, debts, or empty accounts. Life is created and shaped by the spoken word. The tongue has been given the mysterious power to build or to break, to call forth life or to call forth death, to summon prosperity or to cement poverty. Every time you open your mouth, you are sowing seeds into the soil of tomorrow. And the harvest that comes up is always faithful to the words you have sown. There are many who spend their days rehearsing what they do not have. They repeat over and over, I am broke. I never have enough. Money is hard to come by. Times are tough. And then they wonder why their lives echo back the very same conditions. Words are never idle. Words are forces. Words do not disappear into the air when spoken. They imprint themselves upon the invisible substance of spirit, and spirit produces according to the pattern you have given it. Speak want, and want appears. Speak wealth, and wealth responds. Your tongue is the pen, and your life is the paper. Every sentence you utter becomes a line in the script of your future. To live in lack is not always a matter of circumstances. Often it is a matter of conversation. What you continually declare becomes law in your experience. If you make a habit of saying, I can't afford this, I can't get ahead, I'll always be in debt, you have written those lines into the story of your destiny. But you are not bound to that story. You hold the eraser and the pen. At any moment you may cross out the script of want and begin to write the script of wealth with your words. The spirit within you has given the authority to create. Just as in the beginning, when the world was dark and without form, creation did not begin with money, with resources, or with human effort. Creation began with a word, let there be, and it was so. That same divine pattern flows through your life now. The Holy Spirit waits for you to speak the let there be of your own finances. Let there be abundance. Let there be increase. Let there be unexpected supply. Let there be divine ideas. Let there be overflow. When you speak these things not as empty phrases, but with conviction and faith, you are writing your tomorrow. Think of the countless times you have spoken against yourself. You have declared sickness, failure, debt, and lack, and life has responded faithfully. But now you are called to a higher level. Your voice is not to be an echo of fear, but a trumpet of truth. From this day forth, you must guard your words like treasure, for they are treasure. Every phrase you utter is a deposit into your future account. Every declaration is either a withdrawal or a deposit. The wise choose to deposit. They say, I am prosperous. I am a magnet for supply. I am guided into increase. I live in the overflow. My needs are already met before I ask. Money serves me. I am aligned with divine riches. Do not say these things as if you are trying to convince the universe against its will. Say them because they are true in spirit, and truth always manifests in time. The invisible always shapes the visible. The spiritual always governs the material. And words are the bridge between the two. You may look at your present condition and think, how can I declare wealth when my account is empty? But that is the point. Words are not mirrors, they are seeds. You do not speak according to what you see. You speak according to what you desire to see. The farmer does not wait for the harvest to appear before he plants. He plants in barren soil, believing that the seed will bring the harvest in time. So too must you plant your words of abundance in what looks like barren soil. Though there may be nothing today, the harvest is already forming in the unseen. The tragedy is that many plant weeds with their words and then cry when their field is overrun. They plant doubt, fear, and complaints day after day, and when lack continues, they assume life is unfair. But life is only echoing back what they have sown. The tongue must be trained as a gardener trains his field. Speak only what you wish to reap. Refuse to allow careless, negative, or fearful phrases to grow roots in your life. There is a higher discipline that must become your daily practice. Wake each morning and declare your supply. Speak aloud the future you desire. Say, today, provision finds me. Today, money flows to me with ease. Today, I walk into opportunities. Today, my needs are met in advance. Throughout the day, whenever a thought of lack rises, cancel it with your words. Replace it immediately with a declaration of wealth. Say, I am surrounded by abundance. I am one with infinite supply. By night, as you lay down, seal your spirit with words of gratitude. Thank divine order for what is already unfolding, even if unseen. This is how you keep your script aligned with abundance. It may seem small, even foolish, to believe that your speech shapes your money. But the foolish things often contain the deepest wisdom. The rich in spirit know this: your life is nothing more than a reflection of your repeated declarations. The poor declare their poverty again and again until it hardens into fact. The wise declare their wealth again and again until it bursts into manifestation. Both are faithful to their words. Which script will you choose? There is also power in how you speak of others. If you envy or criticize the prosperity of your neighbor, you are writing lack into your own story. What you curse cannot flow toward you. But when you bless the wealth of others, you open the channel for it to reach you as well. Speak abundance over all you see. Say, prosperity belongs to them, and prosperity belongs to me. There is no competition in divine supply. What is theirs does not diminish what is mine. Infinite riches flow for all. In this way, you keep your heart free of jealousy, and your tongue aligned with truth. Never forget the words you speak when you are pressured are the most powerful of all. When the bill is due, when the account looks empty, when fear is near. What you speak in that moment becomes the seed of your future. Do not curse yourself with phrases like, I'll never make it, I'm finished, I'm drowning. Instead, lift up your voice and declare, this too is turning to my good. My supply is sure, unexpected money arrives. I am upheld by the spirit of abundance. Such words pull you out of despair and call forth divine intervention. There are countless testimonies of those who shifted their entire financial destiny by shifting their words. They moved from debt to wealth, from struggle to ease, from begging to commanding, simply by aligning their speech with truth. You are no different. Your miracle lies not in waiting for outside change, but in changing your inner and spoken word. Remember this always. Wealth is not a future event, it is a present reality in spirit. Your task is to bring it forth into form by your consistent declarations. Every time you speak abundance, you water the seed. Every time you affirm prosperity, you pull the harvest closer. And just as the seed beneath the soil grows in silence before it breaks through, so your words are working even when you see nothing yet. Do not give up before the breakthrough. Many cancel their harvest by speaking doubt too soon. Stay faithful, and the unseen will become seen. So I say again with boldness, your words write the future. They are not empty air. They are creative power. Speak wealth, not want. Speak increase, not decrease. Speak overflow, not lack. Every sentence is a stroke of the pen, every phrase is a line in the script, and every declaration is a prophecy you are setting into motion. Refuse to be careless. Refuse to be negative. Refuse to curse your life with poverty talk. From this moment, let your words be only of riches, blessings, and divine supply. The spirit within you waits for your command. Heaven itself bends to the authority of your tongue. You need not beg, you need not chase, you need not fear. You only need to declare. Let your mouth align with the truth of abundance, and your life will align as well. The future is yours to write, and with every word you speak, you hold the pen. Speak wealth, and wealth will appear. Speak abundance, and abundance will overflow. Speak life, and life will answer. Speak riches, and riches will find you. For your words write the future. Speak wealth, not want. The Spirit works now, not tomorrow, to release provision. This is a truth that many struggle to grasp, for the mind is trained to delay, to wait, to postpone, and to expect blessings only somewhere in the distant future. But divine supply is not bound by time. It does not ask for years to prepare itself. It does not require tomorrow to bring forth what already belongs to you today. The Spirit moves in the eternal present, and the eternal present is where your provision lives. When you align your heart to this reality, you discover that your abundance is never late, never missing, never waiting on some faraway day. It is here, now, unfolding before you as soon as you awaken to it. Most people live in tomorrow. They speak in tomorrow's language. One day I will prosper. One day I will pay my debts. One day I will rise into freedom. But every time such words leave their lips, they push provision further away. For the Spirit does not work in Hornday. The Spirit works in the present moment, and the only moment you ever truly hold is now. To live in tomorrow is to miss the miracle of today. To place your faith in the future is to deny the hand stretched out to you in the present. You do not need to plead for provision to come in some vague season. You must open your eyes and declare, provision is mine this very moment, in perfect time, in perfect way, in perfect order. When you truly believe this, you stop delaying your abundance. You stop saying, I will have when the conditions are right. Conditions do not create supply, consciousness does. The Spirit is not waiting for your bank balance to shift, your job to change, or the economy to improve. The Spirit is waiting only for your agreement, your faith, your willingness to receive. And the instant you surrender your fear and align with divine truth, The law of supply moves like lightning, rearranging people, opportunities, and circumstances to deliver exactly what you need. Think of it. When seeds are placed into the soil, they begin to germinate at once. The process does not wait for a perfect tomorrow. It begins immediately. The spirit of provision works in the same way. The moment you plant faith, the moment you speak words of command over your finances, the unseen roots of abundance begin to spread. You may not see the shoot above the soil at once, but beneath the surface, divine energy is already at work. Do not despise the unseen, for it is proof that provision is in motion. The Spirit is not preparing to act tomorrow, He is already at work today. So many keep their miracles on hold because they live in hesitation. They think provision requires delay. They pray and then look to the future instead of the present, but faith knows that provision is already complete. Faith declares, I receive it now. Faith refuses to postpone. When you wait for provision tomorrow, you unconsciously agree with lack today. But when you receive it now, you tear up the contract with poverty. You claim your inheritance this very instant. Let your words become instruments of immediacy. Speak not of delay, but of fulfillment. Do not say, I will be debt-free someday. Say, I am debt-free now by divine order. Do not say, money will come eventually. Say, money is flowing to me in perfect timing and perfect ways now. These declarations may feel bold, but boldness is the language of spirit. The timid wait, the faithful claim. And the moment you claim, the Spirit honors your word and rushes to manifest it. The Spirit is not bound by the slow grind of time. Time is a construct of man, provision is the law of eternity. In eternity, there is no waiting line, no postponement, no process that drags. Everything exists in completion. Abundance is not being prepared for you. It is finished, and it awaits your recognition. Imagine a great banquet already set, table laden with every dish you could desire. It is not being cooked in some back kitchen for tomorrow's feast. It is here now, awaiting your arrival. That is how divine provision works. The moment you take your seat in faith, the meal is yours to eat. Understand this: worry always lives in tomorrow. Fear always lives in tomorrow. Lack always promises relief someday, while chaining you to today's misery. But Spirit lives in now, love lives in now, abundance lives in now. Each time you choose faith in this moment, you step into divine provision and break the illusion of delay. You are not meant to live waiting for blessings. You are meant to live in the continuous flow of blessings. Perhaps you say, but my eyes see no money in my account. My hands hold no supply. Beloved, what you see with the eyes of flesh is not the whole truth. Spirit provision is invisible before it is visible. Just as air surrounds you though you cannot see it, abundance surrounds you though your bank may deny it. Faith draws the unseen into the seen, the invisible into the visible. When you speak wealth in the present, when you thank God for supply in the present, you make room for the unseen river of abundance to break into the seen world. Do not underestimate the power of thanksgiving now. Gratitude is the door through which provision enters. If you wait to give thanks only after the money arrives, you delay the flow. But if you give thanks now, before the physical proof shows itself, you open the gates wide. Gratitude is proof to spirit that you have already received, and what is received in consciousness must appear in form. So lift your voice in thanks this very moment. Give thanks for debts already cleared, even if the paper still shows the numbers. Give thanks for doors already opened, even if they look closed. Give thanks for abundance overflowing, even if the vessel looks empty. Gratitude writes your check in the invisible, and faith cashes it in the visible. The Spirit works now, not tomorrow, to release provision. This means you must train your mind to live in immediacy, not postponement. Every thought of, I will have, must be replaced with, I have now. Every thought of one day I will rise, must be replaced with, I rise now. Every thought of, someday things will change, must be replaced with, things are changed now. The more you live in the vibration of now, the faster provision pours into your life. Delay belongs to doubt. Immediacy belongs to faith. Remember the truth: the Spirit does not hesitate, the Spirit does not delay, the Spirit does not withhold. It is only the human mind that hesitates, delays, and withholds by clinging to fear, doubt, and disbelief. The moment you release these, the current of divine wealth sweeps you up. And once you are in its current, supply flows ceaselessly, without pause, without end. Do not confuse timing with delay. Timing is divine order, ensuring that what you need comes exactly when it benefits you most. But timing is not postponement. If the supply does not appear this second in visible form, it is because the Spirit is arranging it to manifest at the perfect second, not a second too late. That is not delay, it is precision. Trust the precision of Spirit. The blessing may not arrive when you stamp your foot, but it will always arrive in flawless alignment. And in the meantime, Spirit is already working, already moving, already orchestrating. Nothing is ever idle in the Spirit realm. The Spirit works now, and that is why you must walk now as one already supplied. Stop living as though you are waiting. Stop carrying yourself as though you are still begging. Walk with the posture of one who knows the inheritance is secure. Speak with the confidence of one who already holds the title deed to abundance. Act as though the provision is present, because in truth it is. Your actions of faith become signals to spirit that you are ready to manifest what has already been given. This is why miracles often appear the moment you stop waiting and start living as though the blessing is already yours. The job offer arrives when you already dressed in readiness. The money shows up when you already gave thanks. The opportunity presents itself when you already moved forward. Spirit responds to faith in action, not to doubt in waiting. If you only knew how near your abundance already is, you would never again say, tomorrow. If you only knew how ready the Spirit is to provide, you would never again say, someday. The Spirit is not reluctant, the Spirit is not withholding, the Spirit is not calculating whether you deserve enough. The Spirit delights to give, and gives freely to those who trust. This truth should ignite your heart with confidence. Nothing is lacking, nothing is missing, nothing is delayed. Everything is flowing, and it flows now. So rise into the consciousness of immediacy. Train your words to declare it. Train your mind to believe it. Train your heart to receive it. The Spirit is already at work, flipping the script of lack into the story of abundance. Provision is not waiting for your tomorrow. Provision is living in your today. Take hold of it, rejoice in it, and walk in it now. For the Spirit works now, not tomorrow, to release provision. Opportunities, resources, and people are magnetized to divine trust. This is not merely an idea, not just a poetic phrase, but an eternal principle that governs the invisible laws of life. When a person places their full confidence in the power of Spirit, when they cease clinging to fear and doubt, they activate a force so magnetic, so irresistible, that all the good they require begins to move toward them. It may seem like coincidence, it may appear as though chance or luck is working, but in truth it is divine law unfolding. Trust in Spirit is not passive waiting, but an active alignment with the eternal source of supply. And in that alignment, what you once chased begins to chase you. You see, most people are taught to believe that opportunities must be hunted down with tireless effort, that resources must be wrestled from the world with struggle, and that the right people are few and far between, difficult to find. But this is the old script, the limited way of thinking that comes from fear. Fear says, if you don't fight for it, you'll lose. Fear says, if you don't compete, you'll be left behind. Fear whispers, others have more than you, so there is not enough. And under this false belief, people live in a state of scarcity, always reaching, always striving, but never arriving. Divine trust writes a new script. Trust declares, I am supplied because I am connected to the source of all. Trust whispers, the right people are already moving toward me, the right opportunities are seeking me, the right resources are flowing in my direction. Trust shifts your inner posture from one of strain to one of assurance. And when you carry assurance, you carry magnetism. What you radiate, you draw. When your vibration is fear, you draw more fear. When your vibration is lack, you attract lack. But when your vibration is trust, heaven and earth align to deliver exactly what you require, often in ways more perfect than you imagined. Consider the magnet. A magnet does not strain to attract. It does not plead for metal to come near. By its very nature, it draws to itself the things that are in harmony with its field. Likewise, when you are rooted in divine trust, you generate a spiritual field around you. This field is alive, charged with certainty, charged with faith. In this field, opportunities that once seemed out of reach suddenly appear at your door. Resources you thought were locked away find their way into your hands. People of influence, kindness, and alignment step into your path, not by accident, but by the quiet pull of Spirit. This magnetism is not manipulation. You are not forcing others to move in your favor. Divine trust does not coerce, it does not scheme. Rather, it aligns. It aligns your life with divine order, and divine order arranges circumstances, conversations, connections, and ideas to fulfill the need at hand. What you thought required years of toil can arrive in a moment of grace. What you thought needed endless planning can unfold in a single inspired step. Perhaps you are facing a need right now. Maybe your finances feel dry, your opportunities seem blocked, or the right allies have not yet appeared. You may feel as though the doors are shut, as though every effort you make ends in frustration. But let me remind you, divine trust is never blocked. The moment you let go of fear's grip and lean into trust, the energy shifts. Invisible forces begin their work on your behalf. Doors that were sealed begin to crack open. Delays suddenly dissolve. Ideas you never considered rise into your awareness. A phone call arrives, a chance meeting occurs, a small opening appears. These are not random. They are the signs of magnetism, the evidence that your trust has set the law in motion. The difficulty is that many give up too soon. They declare trust with their lips but carry doubt in their hearts. They speak faith in the morning but speak fear by noon. They water the soil of possibility one day, and the next they dig up the seed to see if it is growing. Trust requires consistency. Trust requires standing firm even when the outer picture has not yet shifted. The magnet does not flicker on and off. Its force is steady. So must your trust be steady. Do not collapse your confidence the moment a challenge appears. Hold steady. Hold firm. Keep affirming opportunities, resources, and people are magnetized to my trust. You may say, but how can I trust when my bank account is empty? How can I trust when every door seems shut? The answer is simple yet profound. You must trust because trust is the very key that unlocks the fullness of supply. If you wait until you see evidence, you are no longer trusting, you are merely observing. Trust is belief before evidence, confidence before manifestation, certainty before appearance. When you hold that vibration, you give spirit something to work with. Without it, you are like a magnet that has been demagnetized, unable to draw what it was created to attract. Let me remind you that divine supply is unlimited. There is no shortage in spirit. Shortage only appears in the minds of those who have forgotten the source. Just as the sun shines without running out of light, just as the ocean beats upon the shore without running out of waves, so too does divine supply flow without depletion. Trust plugs you into this infinite current. Lack disconnects you, but trust reestablishes the connection. Once connected, resources flow again, for supply is always present, waiting to be claimed. Do not underestimate the role of people in this divine magnetism. Spirit often works through people. A single introduction can change your entire trajectory. One conversation can unlock a door you have been pounding on for years. One individual drawn into your life by divine order can become the bridge to your next level of abundance. This is why trust must extend beyond circumstances into relationships. Trust that the right people are being guided to you, even now. Trust that those who are not aligned will drift away, and those who are meant to stand with you will appear. Perhaps someone left your life and you felt abandoned. Perhaps a partnership dissolved and you thought it was loss. But spirit never subtracts without adding, never removes without replacing with something higher. If someone was pulled away, it is only because the alignment was broken. Trust that new alignments are forming, stronger and more fruitful than the old. Hold faith that every relationship needed for your prosperity will be drawn to you with precision and grace. Trust also attracts ideas. Spirit may not always deliver a bag of money at your door, but he will deliver a thought, a flash of inspiration, an idea that if acted upon will lead to the provision you need. Opportunities often come disguised as ideas. Resources often come packaged in creative strategies. Trust keeps you open, sensitive, and willing to act when these whispers arrive. Without trust, you dismiss them. With trust, you recognize them as divine guidance. And so the path is simple, though not always easy. Release fear. Release the old script of struggle. Stand in trust. Declare with your whole being, opportunities, resources, and people are magnetized to me through my trust in spirit. Speak it until it settles into your heart. Speak it until it feels more real than the evidence around you. Speak it until you know, deep within, that the law is already working. When you live this way, you will notice changes. The atmosphere around you will feel lighter. The heaviness of striving will lift. People will notice something in you, a quiet confidence, a calm assurance. They may not know what it is, but they will be drawn to it. That is magnetism. Opportunities that once bypassed you will pause at your door. Resources that once felt scarce will begin to flow in. Life will rearrange itself to honor your trust, for the law of spirit cannot fail. Remember always, you are not chasing supply, you are aligning with it. You are not forcing opportunities, you are attracting them. You are not manipulating people, you are magnetizing those who are divinely appointed to walk with you. This is the way of trust. This is the way of abundance. And as you continue to live in this vibration, your life will become a testimony. Others will look at you and wonder how things always seem to work out in your favor. They will see doors open for you, resources flow to you, people appear to help you, and they will say, you are lucky. But you will know the truth, it is not luck, it is divine trust. So let this truth sink deeply into your heart today. Stop striving, stop fearing, stop rehearsing lack. Stand boldly in trust, and know that everything you need is already moving towards you. Opportunities are coming. Resources are on the way. People are being prepared to step into your life. You need not chase them. They are magnetized to your trust. And once they arrive, they will remain, for the Spirit's gifts are never temporary, never fleeting. They endure, they multiply, and they bless you for good. Therefore, let every word you speak, every thought you hold, every step you take be infused with trust. For when you trust the Spirit, the whole universe bends to bring you what belongs to you by divine right. Opportunities, resources, and people are magnetized to divine trust. This is your truth. This is your law. And this is your destiny. Beloved, the greatest prison humanity has ever known is not made of iron bars, heavy gates, or chains of steel. It is the prison of repeated words, repeated thoughts, and repeated fears that play like broken records in the mind. Every time you speak of lack, every time you dwell on limitation, every time you rehearse the story of how hard things are, you bind yourself again with invisible cords. You may not see them with your eyes, but you feel their weight in your finances, in your opportunities, and in your life. The truth I bring to you today is simple yet mighty. Stop rehearsing poverty. Release the old script of fear, and you will step into a life where abundance flows freely. Fear is a playwright, and it has written a script that many have memorized by heart. The lines are familiar. I never have enough. I can't afford this. Money is too tight. Life is unfair. Things never work out for me. These lines, repeated again and again, have been performed on the stage of your life until they have become reality. You may not realize it, but every complaint, every fearful statement, and every word of lack is a rehearsal. And rehearsals are powerful because they prepare you for performance. When you rehearse poverty, you perform poverty. When you rehearse lack, you perform lack. But today the curtain rises on a new play, written not by fear but by the Spirit of truth. This play does not end in defeat but in victory, not in want but in overflow. And your role is to release the old script and begin speaking your lines of abundance. Words are not idle, they are living seeds planted into the soil of the unseen. Every time you say, I can't afford this, you sow a seed of limitation. Every time you declare, I'm always broke, you water that seed until it grows strong roots and bears bitter fruit. But the moment you replace those words with declarations of faith, you uproot the weeds and plant new life. When you say, I live in divine abundance, you sow a seed of prosperity. When you say, my needs are always met in perfect time and order, you plant a tree of supply that will bear fruit in due season. Stop rehearsing poverty and you will stop performing poverty, because your lines will change, your stage will change, and your story will change. Fear thrives on repetition. It whispers the same old lies, again and again, until they sound like truth. It says, the economy is bad, and so you will suffer. It says, you come from a poor family, so you will remain poor. It says, you failed once, so you will fail again. But let me remind you, fear is a liar, and a liar's words have no power once you refuse to repeat them. You must refuse to rehearse fear's lines. You must refuse to keep practicing a role that was never meant for you. For you were not written into a tragedy but into a triumph. The moment you lay down the script of fear, the Spirit will hand you a new script written in bold letters. You are blessed. You are provided for. You are supplied in abundance. You are a channel of wealth, not a victim of lack. Do not underestimate how much power your rehearsal carries. Think of an actor who rehearses daily for months before the performance. By the time the curtain rises, he does not even need to think, the lines come automatically. So it is with you. If you rehearse poverty with your words every day, lack becomes automatic, natural, and expected. You stop even questioning it, because you have trained yourself to perform it. But if you rehearse abundance, if you practice speaking wealth, if you declare supply morning and night, abundance becomes automatic. You begin to expect prosperity. You begin to attract prosperity, and you begin to live prosperity without effort. So I tell you again, stop rehearsing poverty. It may feel strange at first to put down those old lines, because you have spoken them for years. You may feel like you are lying to yourself when you say, I am rich in supply. You may feel like you are pretending when you declare, my bank account is full and overflowing. But remember, you were pretending lack all this time, and that pretension became your reality. If pretending brought you poverty, then speaking truth will bring you wealth. Faith may look like pretending at first, but faith is the rehearsal of truth, and truth never fails. The old script of fear is heavy. It has been carried by generations, passed down from parent to child, repeated in households, schools, and workplaces. People say, money doesn't grow on trees, you must struggle to survive. The rich are greedy, only a few get ahead. These lines are rehearsed so faithfully that they have become the common play of society. But you are not bound to act in the same drama. You are free to walk off that stage and onto a new one. You are free to be cast in a play of divine abundance. But first, you must refuse the role of poverty. You must hand back the script of fear and say, I will no longer speak these lines. I will no longer repeat these words. I choose to speak abundance. I choose to declare wealth. I choose to rehearse prosperity until it is the only story I know. Do not wait for your circumstances to change before you change your words. Circumstances are the fruit, words are the seed. If you wait for fruit before planting seed, you will wait forever. Begin now, even in the face of lack. When your wallet feels empty, say, I am full. When your bills come due, say, every need is met. When the world says, you can't, say, I can, because my source is not man but spirit. These rehearsals may feel unnatural, but they are sowing new seeds, and soon the harvest will appear. You must also watch your casual speech, for poverty hides in small phrases. How often have you said, that's too expensive? I could never afford it. I'm barely getting by. Money doesn't come easily. These words seem harmless, but they are rehearsals, and every rehearsal writes tomorrow's script. Replace them with new lines. Instead of, I can't afford this, say, if I desire it, the way will appear. Instead of, money is hard to get, say, money flows to me with ease. Instead of, I'm barely surviving, say, I am thriving in every way. Soon your tongue will no longer default to poverty but to prosperity. The Spirit cannot pour new wine into old wineskins, and He cannot pour abundance into a life rehearsing lack. To receive new supply, you must prepare new space. The space is created with your words, your thoughts, and your expectations. Fear shrinks your space, faith expands it. Fear rehearses smallness, faith rehearses greatness. Fear clings to yesterday's script, faith writes tomorrow's vision. Release the old script of fear and your stage will be enlarged. The Spirit will bring provision in ways you never dreamed, but you must first create the opening by changing your rehearsal. Remember, beloved, every word you speak is an audition. You are auditioning for tomorrow's role today. If you audition with lines of poverty, you will be cast in a drama of lack. But if you audition with lines of abundance, you will be cast in a play of wealth and blessing. The director of life always casts according to the words spoken with conviction. So choose your audition carefully. Speak your lines of abundance boldly, as if the curtain is already rising, because it is. Now is the moment to release the old script of fear, tear it up. Refuse to repeat it. Stop rehearsing poverty, for poverty has no rightful place in your story. Rehearse abundance, rehearse prosperity, rehearse supply, rehearse freedom. Soon the lines will no longer feel forced but natural, and when they feel natural, they will manifest as reality. The Spirit has written a new play, and it is called Overflow. You are its star. The curtain is rising, the audience is waiting, and the stage is set. Step onto it boldly, deliver your new lines with faith, and watch as the old story of poverty fades into nothing, replaced forever with the shining performance of abundance. Every new chapter of prosperity unfolds by divine order, not chance. Life is not a random scatter of events thrown together without purpose. Behind every movement, every change, every rising opportunity, there is a law at work, a pattern that cannot be broken, a divine current that carries you from limitation into freedom. What looks like coincidence is not coincidence at all. It is the weaving of Spirit, arranging the perfect sequence, timing, and unfolding of events so that your prosperity story is written not by accident but by order. So many people think their financial lives are at the mercy of luck. They see others prosper and whisper, he was just lucky, or she was in the right place at the right time. But nothing of Spirit is luck. Luck is the illusion of men who do not know the higher law. Prosperity does not belong to the gambler. It belongs to the believer. For the believer understands that every chapter of life is scripted by divine order, and when the mind is aligned with that order, supply flows in ways beyond reason. You may think of your past and recall moments where unexpected money came to you, where doors opened without you striving. You may have labeled it chance. But in truth, those were signals of divine orchestration. The Spirit was showing you that the same law which governs the stars in their courses governs your finances too. The same law that makes the sun rise every morning is the law that governs your provision. It is steady, reliable, and unshakable. To step into prosperity, you must stop bowing to the idea of randomness. There is nothing random about your life. The people who come to you, the opportunities that knock, the sudden ideas that light in your mind, all of these are instruments of divine order. When you begin to trust this law, you stop chasing and start allowing. You stop worrying about when and how money will arrive, because you know it must arrive by right of spiritual law. Consider this: a farmer does not scatter seed in the ground and then cry out in fear, what if the crop never comes? He knows the seed will respond to the soil and the rain. He knows the law of growth is at work. In the same way, when you sow thoughts of wealth, when you declare that you are supplied, when you walk with confidence that your needs are already met, you are planting seeds in the field of Spirit. And by divine order, those seeds must sprout. It may not always sprout in the way you expect. You may pray for money, and instead, a new business idea comes. You may ask for wealth, and instead, a person crosses your path with an opportunity. You may declare prosperity, and instead, your inner fears are stripped away so that you can step into a larger flow. But whatever form it takes, understand this: the response is never absent. The order is always working. If you want to accelerate your prosperity, you must harmonize your words with divine order. Stop speaking of lack, for every word of lack is a seed of limitation. Stop rehearsing your debts, your fears, your disappointments, for they bind you to an old script that the Spirit is trying to erase. Instead, declare what is true: that abundance is unfolding, that money serves you, that supply is flowing now. Say it boldly, say it consistently, and say it with trust, for your word is law to your world. The Spirit does not respond to half-hearted speech. He responds to conviction. If you want your script flipped, you must speak as one who knows, not as one who hopes. There is a great difference between hoping and knowing. Hope whispers, perhaps. Knowing declares, already done. When you stand in knowing, divine order rushes to confirm your word. The universe itself bends to make your declaration flesh. Every new chapter of prosperity is not written in your labor alone, but in your faith. Work without faith breeds sweat without fruit. Faith without fear breeds fruit without struggle. This does not mean you will not act. You will act boldly, creatively, energetically. But you will not act in desperation. You will act as one who knows he is carried. You will work as one who knows the Spirit has gone ahead to prepare the way. Think of all the so-called coincidences that shaped your life. The friend you just happened to meet who later helped you. The job you stumbled into that gave you new skills. The idea that suddenly came to you at the right time. None of these were accidents. They were divine setups, stepping stones to bring you to this moment. And the same law that brought you here will carry you forward into wealth. So what is required of you? Trust, faith, and right speech. Trust that divine order is never late, never early, but always perfect. Faith that every need is already supplied even before you ask. Right speech that declares wealth, not want, abundance, not absence. When your heart, mind, and tongue align with this truth, you cannot help but prosper. The chapter you are in today may look dark. Your finances may look tangled. Your bills may look greater than your income. But remember, this is not the end of the story. It is just a page. The author has not stopped writing. The next chapter is already being prepared. And when it unfolds, it will not be by accident. It will be by divine order, and it will reveal to you a flow of prosperity so precise, so timely, that you will look back and marvel at the wisdom of it all. Stand firm, then, in this truth. Every new chapter of prosperity unfolds by divine order, not chance. Do not fear. Do not doubt. Do not bow to the illusion of randomness. Your supply is secure in spirit, and it is unfolding for you now. Expect it, declare it, and walk into it with boldness. For the script of your finances is being rewritten, not by man but by the hand of divine law, and every line of it spells abundance. The Spirit's promise is permanent, abundance for good, not just for a season. To understand this is to stand on unshakable ground, for many have been deceived into believing that blessings are temporary, that prosperity comes only in waves, or that wealth must vanish as suddenly as it arrives. This is not so. The Spirit does not deal in fleeting gifts or unstable treasures. What the Spirit bestows endures. When abundance comes by divine order, it carries no sorrow with it and no shadow of loss. It is steady, constant, eternal in nature, for it is not tied to man's economy but to heaven's supply. Most people are trained to think in terms of cycles, feast and famine, gain and loss, rise and fall. They watch the stock market, their paychecks, or their savings accounts and believe that their destiny is bound to numbers shifting on a page. But the Spirit knows no famine. The Spirit knows no downturn. The Spirit knows no scarcity. Scarcity is a creation of the fearful mind, a story repeated by those who look at appearances and not at truth. The Spirit's promise is that once you step into divine flow, you no longer move in cycles of lack but in rivers of unending supply. It may change form, it may come through different channels, but it will never stop, for Spirit cannot contradict its own nature. Spirit is abundance, and abundance does not run dry. Consider how the sun shines. It does not decide to give light for 1 hour and then retreat into darkness for the rest of the day. Its nature is to shine, and so it shines. In the same way, the Spirit's nature is to give, to multiply, to provide, and to bless. When you align with Spirit, you align with this law of unceasing provision. Your financial life is no longer at the mercy of chance, of human decisions, or of fleeting opportunities. You are tapped into the eternal reservoir that never empties. To know this is to walk with confidence, not wondering whether abundance will last, but resting in the certainty that it must last, because it springs from the unchanging Spirit. Yet many say, "But I have seen times when money came and then it vanished. I have experienced sudden blessings followed by sudden lack. And I tell you, those were not permanent because they were not yet anchored in truth. Temporary wealth comes when one relies on the world's systems alone. Lasting wealth comes when one relies on the Spirit. Spirit does not grant blessings as experiments, only to snatch them back. Spirit grants blessings that are eternal seeds, capable of multiplying without end. If you saw a blessing vanish, it was not Spirit that withdrew it, but fear, doubt, or misalignment that closed the channel. Spirit's promise never changes. Spirit never wavers. It is humans who waver, who forget, humans who let fear dictate their words and thereby rewrite the story into lack again. So you must decide, will you live as though abundance is a visitor who comes and goes, or will you live as though abundance is your permanent inheritance? The difference is in your consciousness. One who thinks lack expects lack. One who fears loss magnetizes loss. But one who trusts the Spirit's permanence walks in stability. He is like a tree planted by the rivers of water, whose leaf does not wither, and who brings forth fruit in every season. There is no season of poverty for the one rooted in Spirit. Every season is fruitful, because the source is not the weather of circumstance, but the eternal river of supply. Now let me speak plainly. Some of you have prayed for blessings and received them, only to watch them dissolve through fear or mismanagement. You began to doubt whether Spirit truly intended for you to prosper long term. Hear me, Spirit does not give as man gives. Spirit's gifts are not fragile, not conditional, not temporary. But you must learn to guard them with faith and multiply them with thanksgiving. Gratitude is the lock that secures the treasure. Fear is the thief that cracks it open and lets it drain away. If you are constantly worrying about money leaving you, you are in effect inviting it to leave. If you bless it and see it as divine, you anchor it into permanence. The Spirit's promise is permanent. This means you are not meant to scrape by month after month, always waiting for the next miracle to bail you out. You are meant to live in continual flow, where miracles are not emergencies but daily occurrences. Spirit does not want you to live in dread of the next bill, but in certainty that every need is met before it even arises. This is divine order. Before the bird sings its morning song, its food is already waiting. Before the flower blooms, the soil and the rain are already in place. Spirit prepares the way before you even know you will need it. The permanence of abundance means that you never step into emptiness. You only step into prepared supply. The mistake people make is to think of prosperity as a single event, a windfall, a lottery, a breakthrough that happens once and then fades. True prosperity is not an event but a state of being. When you shift into the consciousness of permanent supply, you do not look for one-time blessings, you live in a stream of continual blessings. Money arrives in ways you cannot predict. Opportunities open without explanation. Resources flow from unexpected directions. You live in astonishment, not because provision comes once, but because it never stops coming. And each time, you recognize the Spirit's hand at work, faithful and unfailing. But how do you step into this permanence? It begins with your word. Your words are creative instruments. When you declare lack, you set lack into motion. When you declare abundance, you set abundance into motion. Spirit responds to faith. Filled words like a seed responds to water. Do not say, I always struggle financially. Say instead, I always live in divine abundance. Do not say, money is scarce. Say, money flows to me from countless channels. Do not say, I never have enough. Say, I am provided for beyond measure. Each time you speak these truths, you are anchoring permanence. You are cementing abundance into the very structure of your life. You are rewriting the script so that no season of lack can return. And beyond your words, your actions must match your faith. Live as though abundance is permanent. Give as though your supply cannot run dry. Sow seeds into others' lives with generosity. Spirit multiplies what you release in trust. Those who cling tightly to every coin as if it were their last often see it slip away, for fear attracts loss. But those who release with joy open the door for Spirit to refill their hands, again and again, without end. The permanence of abundance is proven in the cycle of giving and receiving, never broken, always flowing. Remember also that abundance is not only money. Money is one channel, but Spirit's supply is far greater. Ideas, connections, inspiration, creativity, favor, these are currencies of the Spirit, and they are permanent. When you live in alignment with Spirit, you will always have the right idea at the right time. You will meet the right person at the right moment. You will step into the right opportunity when you need it most. This is all abundance, and it does not expire. It is not seasonal. It is the eternal outpouring of Spirit's promise to those who trust. Now, hear this clearly: permanence is not the same as stagnation. Spirit's abundance is living, moving, multiplying. It grows like a seed into a tree, and like a tree into a forest. You are not meant to stay at the same level of supply forever. Permanent abundance means that increase is inevitable. You may begin with small streams, but soon they merge into rivers, and rivers into oceans. Spirit never says, that is enough blessing for you. Spirit says there is more and more and more. Abundance grows because Spirit's nature is expansion. If you align with Spirit, you must expand as well. So let go of the fear that today's blessings will disappear tomorrow. Let go of the worry that what you have will be taken from you. Plant yourself in the truth that the Spirit's promise is permanent. Live in expectation of good, not in dread of loss. See your bank account, your home, your business, your life as grounded in divine permanence. Speak over them words of stability. You are rooted in Spirit, and you shall not wither. Every time you do this, you water the soil of permanence, and your abundance grows deeper roots. And when trials come, and they may, do not be deceived. Do not look at temporary appearances and declare them permanent. Lack may knock on your door, but it cannot stay if you refuse to host it. Poverty may attempt to write a line in your story, but it cannot remain if you tear up the script and hand the pen back to Spirit. The permanence of abundance does not mean you will never see challenges. It means challenges cannot uproot your supply. Just as a storm may shake the branches of a tree, but cannot uproot its roots, so Spirit's abundance in you cannot be lost to temporary storms. It is permanent because its source is eternal. Beloved, the Spirit's promise is permanent abundance for good, not just for a season. Receive this truth into your heart, speak it with your mouth, act on it with your hands, and live it with your mind. Watch as your life transforms from cycles of scarcity into rivers of continual provision. Watch as doors never close without greater doors opening. Watch as what once frightened you becomes powerless before your faith. For spirit cannot fail and spirit cannot lie. If the promise is abundance, then abundance is yours, not for a day, not for a year, but forever. Let this truth anchor you, empower you, and free you. You are rich in spirit, and spirit's wealth is permanent.